What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. My YouTube channel today is a dedication to a world which we never talk about, and it's the world of introverts. We need to say thank you to many of the introverts, which more or less tally up to about 1/3 or probably half of the world population. So many of them have been contributing so much to our culture. I'm one of them, although I've got many traits that can equal the extrovert world, because I have many of those traits, as I said, of being an introvert, of being an extrovert. But I've got also traits of being an introvert. What that means is that I need my time alone sometimes. I like going out, I like people, I like being around friends, but at some point I need to leave them and just get into my room in order to be creative, in order to be contributing to this world at my best of my capacity. As I said, I've got lots of extrovert qualities as well, because I like teaching classes. For example, when I'm at the gym and I'm taking on a class, I really enjoy it, especially if the class is crowded, there's many people. I really enjoy teaching, and it makes me really happy. And when I see that kind of interaction, everything becomes magic. So, but let's focus on that world of introverts. Introverts contribute on a regular basis so much to the world. Many of them compose music, they write, they draw, they are very good at writing poetries, because solitude is something that's is very attuned to the world of creativity. And then if you're not on your own, you can also be creative, but when you're on your own in your room, in your place that you've created for yourself, then your creation becomes much bigger than anything else. Those people in the past that have composed great music, and also sad music, because many people who are introvert, they tend to have those sad emotions, which are not necessarily bad, because obviously sad emotion is a confluence of also good emotions. Well-being and feeling a little bit in distress then merges together, and it gives a bit of an understanding of the overall world, in order to be able to communicate those kind of emotions. I was wondering when I was a teenager why I always tended to prefer sad music as opposed to happy music and cheerful music. But now I have come to the conclusion that sad music I used to prefer, and to these days for most of the time I listen to minor keys and those kind of things, which take me to another world. The sadder is the music, the more I get close to the artist who is trying to communicate something to me. When I see a painting, for example, and he describes, for example, a landscape which is foggy and full of birds that normally they are kind of, how can I say, related to bad emotions, like crows, for example. Well, that painting gives me the bittersweet outlook in life, and I appreciate it very much. Celebration of the introvert, therefore, means that we need to enhance those skills as opposed to going against it. because what we do in our culture on a regular basis is always pricing and awarding that person who is extrovert, who is a leader, who has to follow certain rules of this society in order to make it and climb the ladder of success. But that's not the only that's not the only side of the coin. There's many other sides of coins, especially the one of the opposite, which is the world of that person who prefers to be in his space, but he can contribute so much to this world. He needs his space. For example, those traits of a leader who is always wanting to have some more in this world, wanting to be around people and surrounded by people, having his or her highs because there's so much crowd. Of course, there's a very good thing in that. There's a very good aspect of it, but it's not the only aspect that we need to encourage in this life, because there's not only one model to follow. There's many other models, and one of the macro models, I would say, I want to coin a word, is the one of the introvert. And the introvert deserves so much more, and he has to be much more celebrated. And today my episode is about this kind of traits that are often forgotten. Many of us embrace lots of different traits, lots of characters. I'm one of them who likes to be on his own and likes to be part of this society. I like to express myself when there's other people around me, and I celebrate that, and it's a very good trait I've got. And I had to work on it, of course, because at the beginning when I was teaching a class, I was a little bit anxious, but then with time my anxiety faded away, and it gave space to a person who is now much more confident when I speak in public, when I present inductions at the gym where I work, when I'm talking to a group of people who are stranger to me. Now I'm much more at ease. I don't know if it's me being an introvert emulating the extrovert side of it, but there's definitely a component of my personality which embraces both of those spectrum, which are the extrovert and the introvert. But today I wanted to lift a bit. Actually, I want to lift it very, very much. So all of you, whoever is probably thinking that fits into that kind of space, then here we are to celebrate you. And whenever somebody is encouraging you to be to get out of your comfort zone and you don't want to, well, there's a reason why you don't want to, because you're much better off on your own in that particular day. Of course, I'm sure you've got friends, you've got people you rely on, but you not necessarily are that person who has to be surrounded by crowds of people in order to be happy and get more adrenaline than ever when there's more people around you. I'm sure that you're appreciating your time alone. That inner world that you've always had as a trait is precious. Don't be let down by those people who are trying to encourage you to be necessarily somebody else if you don't like to. Of course, there's many things that you can learn in order to have those little traits of an extrovert. but this comes with time. It's also coming if you want to, for example, and you admire those people who are able to speak in public, then step by step you can train yourself, you can get a little bit out of your comfort zone. But remember, you don't have to, especially if you are able to express yourself on your own and in your little world. I can give you a list of how many artists and people who have been contributing to this world so much, and they were fundamentally introverts. So I really appreciate this word, and remember growing up when I was a teenager, listening to, for most of the time, sad music. Well, regarded as sad music by the majority of the people, but for me it wasn't sad. Actually, in those minor keys I found joy. I really found that those artists were communicating to me in a way that few artists were able to communicate back in the days, because as you know already, I've been talking about my passion towards heavy metal, but it wasn't just heavy metal I used to listen to, but that was the main one. And the most extreme metal, obviously, was the one I always preferred, and the riffs and the keys played in those songs were melancholic, to say the least. What I gather now, being an adult, is that the artist was trying to communicate the pain, which somehow I shared as well, which is the pain of a teenager growing up, being misunderstood, feeling lonely at some point, and feeling really let down by whoever it is, the peers, teachers, sometimes having issues with parents, having his own world and trying to express it somehow, either in the good way or in a bad way, but feeling that there's not many people who can really understand you. And this really spoke to me, and I believe it spoke to everyone who was in my generation of they would call it, how would they call it nowadays, those anyway, so I can't remember the word, but it spoke universally to all of us who used to be into that world of being, yes, introverts, but also sharing those traits of being extroverts, therefore sharing with the world our own feelings. We used to dress up in a certain way because that's the inner state of our being that was being portrayed as either sad or melancholic, deep, and all those kind of qualities that many teenagers have, but somehow they're not able to express because the pressure is too much and the pain is way above the norm. I hope you enjoyed this conversation about you guys, if you feel you're one of them or one of us, because as I said, I've got both traits, and but today it was time for me to have wider appreciation about how important it is to be an introvert and cultivate those traits and not being ashamed of it. Unapologetic. Remember, you are the one who can really change this world for the better. And if you embrace your personality traits, you are better off than anywhere else or anyone else. I hope you enjoyed this video, and leave some comments below, and I'm always open to conversation, to discussions, email me, send me messages on Facebook or wherever you find more comfortable to reach out to me. Okay, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next week. I really enjoyed this conversation. Bye bye.